like a crackhead. Alright, that's the video. That's the whole thing. That's the most important sentence that I'm gonna utter this whole video. You can leave now if you want. Because I genuinely think I will not be able to string a better sentence to that. And I really did think for quite some time about that sentence. But maybe you might want to stick around for a minute. Let me explain myself. First and foremost, alright, I know how that sounds. I know it sounds horrible, crazy even. And I'm not glorifying anything. I want to make that very clear. I want us to be all on the same page. Drugs are bad. Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs, adults. Nobody do drugs. Drugs are not good. All right? No drugs, no alcohol, no ciggies, nothing. All right? Don't do the things. All right? It harms the body, harms the mind. You don't want to do it. But let me be clear, okay? Let me be clear on that. Hear me out though, because I've been thinking about this for a while, and the more I've been starting into, getting into like my own business and trying to build stuff, I have been relating to crackheads a shit ton. I think there's just genuinely something so true about crackheads that nobody really wants to say aloud, and I'm just gonna do it, alright? Because just think about a crackhead for a second. Like, actually think about them, not in a dismissive way, yeah? But think about the mechanism behind them. Like, what powers a crackhead, yeah? Think about it. Because this is a person with absolutely nothing, okay? No network, no plans, no money. But every single day they find a way to make that shit work. I have never ever heard a crackhead that wants to get high not get high the same day. They do. They just do. And look, big ups. If you're one of them crackheads that said, you know what? I'm not gonna do it today, I'm gonna get sober. That's a whole nother dedication, that's a whole nother game. I respect that, but that's still you being the crackhead at that moment though. You went out there and you made a decision and you stuck with it and you did whatever was necessary. You performed the actions that was necessary to stick by that decision. So think about a crackhead because they get shit done. Not sometimes, every single time they get shit done. They get closer to whatever their goal was. If it's a bad goal, trying to get high, for example, they get that shit. If it's a good goal, trying to get sober, they get that shit. No matter what they did, even in their lowest, they always get closer to their goal. And now I'm not saying here again, alright, I want to be very clear on this, that addiction is good in any way or form, alright? Obviously, it's not. But I am asking you a genuine question though. Because why, for the love of God, does a person in a worse circumstance, in you know what, I would say the worst possible circumstance, all right, with addictions, with everything, why would a person, and why does a person, in the worst possible circumstance, with every disadvantage you can name, outwork us? Outwork you, outwork me, outwork everyone. They just do. And you know what? It's because they want it. They want it just that bad. Whatever they want, when it's either one of those two goals I mentioned, all right, they just want it more than us, more than whatever we want. They want it more, and that's it. There's no strategizing. Okay, they want the thing so badly that the obstacle becomes irrelevant. Yeah, the obstacle isn't even a question, dude. Like, wow, what is that? It's just the step between them and whatever they need. All right, and you've got a phone, you've got a brain, you've likely got some education, you got a roof above your head, you have everything. I'm genuinely not saying this to be harsh, yeah? Look, I'm saying this because I needed someone to say it to me. Because I used to be the worst for this, alright? I can't even lie. Like, I used to be horrible with this. And I would genuinely just plan for months, especially when it came to like starting business, just, getting myself out there, whether it was freelancing, now it's business. And genuinely, I would just do this for months. I would make Notion pages. I would use templates and I would, do the most fancy shit ever and just like a bunch of docs. And especially nowadays with like, all those AI tools and whatnot, like I would just like generate a bunch of like business strategies, business plans, BMC, which is a business model canvas, by the way. I would make user journeys, user stories, plan, and everything, all the strategizing. And you know what? After all those business models, the possible revenue projections, and all this stuff that I had mapped out to the decimal point accurate, boys and girls, I would look up and realize I hadn't actually done anything. I hadn't done a single actual thing that brought me closer to my goal. And the thing is, the simulation, it felt good, it felt amazing, and that's the whole problem. The planning, yeah, it feels like work, but it's not work. Okay, you're not putting any work in while planning. Planning is not something you should put down as work. All right, because it's the idea of work. That's what planning is. Planning is not the actual work, it's the idea of work, and your brain really can't tell the difference between you doing the work and you planning the work. It's the same. Okay, so it gives you the dopamine reward anyway. Genuinely, this is a thing. Trust. Like it's really a thing. Your brain just can't distinguish it. That's why if you visualize something too much, right? You winning, your brain gives you the dopamine as if you've already won. Your brain can tell the difference because a little dopamine hit, you just get that little dopamine hit. Every time you write down another step, yeah, of step one, research this. Step one, do that. Step three, do that. Every single step that you write down, every single thing of your master plan, alright, it is a little dopamine hit, which is incredible, of course, very useful, all right? Our brain does that with a reason. It makes us feel like we're doing stuff, but we're actually doing absolutely nothing. We're not building something for ourselves. And it doesn't have to be business, okay? This can be, I don't know, crocheting. This can be, making videos, just doing whatever you're passionate about. And you want it to succeed, you're not getting out there. It might even be something that's very individual, whether it's, doing a certain sport or whatever. You're just not doing it. You're planning, but you're not actually doing it. And meanwhile, the person who just started, very messy, all right, without maybe even a plan. They just went ahead with it, all right, with something that looked embarrassing in version one. That person is like, man, that person is light years ahead of you. You don't even understand how far ahead they are. And the thing is that they're not smarter. They're not smarter at all, by the way. They're not more talented either. Okay, that's just scope. You know, they just did a crackhead thing. They just went out there and got it. You know what they say, right? Early bird gets the worm. That type of shit, basically. That's the thing that they did, okay? Because there's this concept called action bias. Basically, humans are better off doing something than nothing. Even when they think they don't have enough information, because the information you need is often only available after you start. Alright? You can't plan your way to information you haven't encountered yet, if that makes sense. The crackhead, however, doesn't wait for market research. He goes out there. And on the way, he just figures it out. Yeah? Some people might give him money, some people don't. He doesn't give a shit about your market research and ideal ICP or whatever. He just gets out there. He just does the thing. You know, just does it. All right, and then skill that shit up. He has a whole operation going, bro. You want to start a business? Start. It will be bad, definitely, but start anyway. You want to make content? Make it. It will be bad. Make it anyway. Shit. I mean, kind of doing it right now, and I think this will likely be a horrible video. I don't even know how to edit. Okay, I'm just gonna try to figure that shit out. I don't even, I don't even know if I have the right tools for this. I mean, but still, I want to do it because I want to learn. I want to try. I want to progress. I want to do stuff. I want to get out there. Okay, you know, for example, you want to reach out to someone you've been too scared to contact. All right, just do it because just contact them. The worst thing that they can do, yeah, is not reply, which is exactly what's happening right now anyway. While you're not contacting them, right? And that's the thing. The crackhead, they don't really schedule. The crackhead, he doesn't say I'll start when the conditions are right. He doesn't say I'll start when I feel ready. Feeling ready is absolutely it's the dumbest thing ever. You never feel ready because ready is not a feeling. It's a decision. You decide that you're ready. You decide that yeah, I'm gonna do this now. You know. Same way you don't magically queue up into a game. You decide to click the button. You you decide to click Y triangle, uh, whatever it might be. The button. The button. You decide to click the button. You decide that you're ready because the same way the crackhead does it. The crackhead goes, you know what? Today, with whatever he has right now. That's how he does it. And here's the thing about readiness, yeah. And this is something I genuinely believe. Again, as I said before, ready isn't a feeling, it's a state. It's a state where you're in, and the feeling of readiness only arrives after you've already done it. After you've done the scary thing enough times that it's not scary anymore, okay? So you'll never feel ready before you start. Because for anything that matters, the feeling of readiness is the reward for having already done it. It's not the condition for starting. And I think most people know this. I think we all know this, but knowing it and actually using it as a reason to move and to do stuff are two different things. Because what's the actual block? Okay? Just write it down. Now, don't go ahead and plan all that stuff. Just write one sentence, one concise sentence. What is blocking you from your next big hit? What is blocking you from putting in the actual work, from actually starting to dial, from actually putting in the effort, from actually putting in the practice, the reps that you need to the reps that you need to do basically? Because you know, if you really are honest with yourself, yeah, the sentence that you will likely write down is going to be an excuse because the real thing is that you're scared of failing in front of people. Not failing in private, you don't care about failing. You're already failing. we we've been failing every single time we've been inactive. All right, that we can handle. Maybe you'll sob a little bit, and then it's just done. Nobody saw it anyway. Just pick yourself up. But it's the public failure. It's the humiliation that you're scared of because the people who said that's risky all of a sudden get to say, "Hey, told you so." And we hate that. I mean, I hate it too. I hate getting told I told you so. Man, I genuinely do. It's horrible. It's one of the worst things to get told. And here's the wild thing though. Those people are always gonna say I told you so. Whether you fail or whether you succeed. When you succeed, all of a sudden they will say, "Yeah, I told you so. I told you you will succeed." When you fail, they will also tell you, "I told you so. You will fail." They will always change up. They will always, maybe they won't change up, but they will always say the same thing, you know? And if necessary, they will change up. Like if they were wrong, they will just change up. They were like, "Yeah, you know what? I was your biggest supporter," or "You know what? I was the one that kept it 100 with you." But yeah, either way, you just give them too much power over, I would say, a decision that's about your life, not theirs. Caring about what they think. All right. The crackhead really doesn't care who's watching. I mean, he lives the most public life ever, alright? But they get that shit done, though. They really do. And that's the part that actually matters. It's not the hustle, it's not the intensity that I'm talking about. It's really something deeper, right? It's the complete absence of caring what anyone thinks about the method that you're pursuing, that you're doing, that you're trying. You want to build something, build it like nobody's watching. Because genuinely, actually, nobody's watching, dude. Genuinely. They don't have the time to watch yours. They worried about their own shit. They've got their own shit going on. So go get it. Alright, just go get it. Be embarrassing, be messy, be the version that looks like it just doesn't work yet. Maybe even be the version that's failing. And I know that's scary because we don't like to fail, but in order to know what winning is like, we must taste failure. And that's what I want you to do, alright? Because that's what a crackhead has also done. Next to the crack pipe, they tasted failure. Failure. Failure? Failure? Failure. Is that too far? I think that might be too far. But basically, what I'm saying is be a crackhead about your goals. The version 2 comes after. It never will be the version 1. Version 2 is after 1. It's the pivot. It's whatever you make out of 1 after you learn, after you fail, okay? Version 2 is almost always better than version 1. Now, where was I going with this? Uh, yeah, yeah. That's it really. That's kind of where I'm at with this. Okay, you know. Um, yeah. So I would say if you've been sitting on something like whether it's a business idea, a channel, or like a post or a project or a conversation that you've been avoiding, This is me telling you to go do it right now. Whether it's morning, evening, afternoon, I don't care. Just do it right now. Make an actual step into that. When it's business, you go start your outreach. You get out there. When it's the conversation, you send that message. You pick up the phone. You call. When it's a project, you actually put in the work. And you know what? Even nowadays, I would say put in the work in public. All right? Put in that work and show it to the people, because most of the time, even those personal projects or whatever, they almost always die down. And that's why I say, do whatever you want, do it in public, never do it in private. Don't do it in private. That's where everything kind of like dies down and dies out. Just go out there, do it. Early bird gets the worm, bro. Oh man, jeez. uh anyway, I'll be around, okay? I'll be around in this kind of like empty corner of the internet, all right, on YouTube over here. So yeah, I mean, I guess just, you know, keep me posted in the comments, and I will hopefully catch you in the next one. Okay, stay sleepy. Oh no! Oh my God, that was horrible. Stay sleepy? No, that doesn't work with the video. Stay sleepy? No, stay active. That would be funny to actually do an antonym. You know what? No, you know what? I'm gonna double down. Stay sleepy.